Welcome to the latest episode of the Graveyard House. If you're new here, I'm calling it the Graveyard House series because there's a graveyard on the other side of the road, which is also part of the property. There's 3 acres on this side and 10 acres across the street, which includes the graveyard and a big barn. If you're new, go back and watch the beginning of the series. You can see where we started. I bought this house in March of 2023 with my business partner, Howard, and I've been working on fixing it up ever since. In this episode, I'm gonna frame in this section here at the back. I'm calling that the extension. Realized was the worst, most dilapidated part of the house, which is why I started there. For some stupid reason, I decided to save the roof. It seemed like it was a simple thing to do. In retrospect, it was a little complicated. I'm past the complicated part, and now the wall's up, the roof supported. In this episode, you're going to see how Ken, my stonemason, did the foundation wall, and where we're going with it. We're going to carry that wall all the way across the west side of the house just to make it look cohesive, and also because it needs it under the main house. Let's take a close look. Now, this is sometime around November. The drainage was all installed in underneath the stone stack wall, and now it's time to start putting the walls back. The sill plate that went around, we made sure that we dropped plumb bobs everywhere to make sure that everything was in cahoots, everything was level and plumb. And now me and Mike are starting to put the wall up. And once we put the wall up, we're going to put it up in sections. As we put the wall up, we're taking out those H-frames. And if you see those H-frames, they had to send the weight of the roof to the ground. And I have these screw jacks that are at the top of each one of them. So I said to Mike, let's do sections of wall at a time. As we install the sections of the walls, we can work our way around and remove the H-frames that are supporting the roof. Now the new construction has to match with the old construction, and that upper sill plate at the top of the wall, the original one, is all curved and messed up. So to make the transition more clean, I skin the whole bottom of it with a 2x6, and then I build my wall between the 8x8 sill plate at the bottom and the new skinned upper piece. So you see that upper piece, and as I lower the wall onto it, as I move out each H-frame, we attach it. That old construction's all curved and it's not straight, but my wall will be straight, and we can hide that later inside the dormer.
Nothing straight anymore.
Mike was commenting on the availability of what's at Home Depot or Lowe's. All the wood is bent no matter what. You just got to make the best of it and try and make sure the curves work with what you're doing. And in this case, we're building the next section of wall, and then we stand it up and put it in place. And I was building as big of a piece as we could between the H-frames and as much as we can pick up and carry. And now you see the bottom part of the upper sill plate is skinned again, and then we put that in place. And I'm screwing it to the bottom straight away, or even just nailing it, because I know that's not going to change. At the top, I'm just putting temporary screws once the whole wall is built. And now here you see us taking out that H-frame. And it's hard to detect. I certainly can't see it because this video isn't rendered yet. But you could see how much the roof is raised up over the construction as we lifted and moved and lifted and took out and put in and lifted. Every time the roof got higher and higher and higher. So by the time I lower the roof at the final corner on the other side, it comes down like 5 inches. And here we're putting in the next section, and then you could see right there. I saw that move even in the unrendered state. And we made one full wall. We got the corner in, the corner post, which is several 2x6s nailed together just for strength in the corner there. I'm not putting any windows in it just yet. I don't really even know the window pattern. Later in the video, you'll see me and Ryan were playing with the 3D model. Ryan is my friend who's an architect, and he's got a full 3D scale drawing of the building. And we could go in there and play around with. But right now, I'm just trying to get this area of the building secured, put back together. And now here it is about a month or two later, and I'm working on the west side of the house by myself. And here I'm doing the sections just as before. On this side, the roof is not the same height as the other side for some reason. The roof line that comes directly off the house is about 4 inches higher on one side than it is the other. We just got to deal with it. I could maybe correct it when I do the dormers. I'm also hiding that curved sill plate that the rafters end at. Over years of this building being dilapidated and wanting to bow out, the top of both of them have that severe curve in them. But I'm going to have to hide it inside the dormer. And now here I am removing the first H-frame on the west side of the house. It's such a relief to be able to get rid of these things. Every time I pulled up to the house, I really didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if the house was going to tumble over, blown sideways. The severe winds over here, you could see facing north right there, and that is severe winds coming off of that field. That's another reason why I'm using 2x6s. This whole section of the house is going to really get battered in the winter. I want to make sure I have a big R rating in the walls. This is another trick my dad taught me, and I think about him every single time. I use a long screw to pull something into square or to move a piece of material over in place. You see that? The line showed up right there. So I got the twist out, and I think of my dad every time. And now here I am installing the last section that I did by myself. This is December 23rd, I think. And if you pick up anything by the balancing point in the middle, you could pretty much move it as long as you can physically pick it up. It's easy to pick it up alone from the balancing point right in the center of gravity for that object. And that's how I was able to move this whole wall section by myself. Once I get this all nailed up and in place, then I take my long break. The break, everybody was asking me when they were going to see another episode. And me and Mike start up right here. And here, this is about, I think in May, Mike and I came back and to finish up this section of the wall. And the reason I'm putting in big pieces, small pieces, I'm building it up as we get to each one of the H-frames. It's a little untraditional, and I'm sure people are going to skewer me in the comments, but that's fine. But now it's all done, and all the walls are leveled. Now here, this is where the corner was severely raised up. And not only was it raised up, it pulled the other corner up and in. So if you could imagine twisting the lid of a box that's attached at one end, you pick up one corner and it pulls in on screen, the left side pulls in up and in. So that whole other wall was never level until I dropped this corner down. It was level closer to the building, but not out in space, kind of where Ken is standing. You can see Ken working on the wall. And by the way, look at how beautiful the wall is as it slowly comes up to the sill plate. We have those steel I-beams in the corner holding everything up and in place, and then there's a couple of jacks along each wall holding everything up in the air. And this is how Ken wanted to do it. He wanted to bring the stone up to the bottom of the sill plate, which he then cements in place and everything else. Now here I'm lowering this, and you can physically see how far down it comes. And we have enough of a wall there to trust that the corner is going to be secure, and of course it is. And then Mike and I fill in the rest of the wall with sections of 2x6 wall. If I said 2x4s in the past, these are all 2x6s. And then we're popping in the last piece with that secured built-up corner. And then we need to go along the short wall there. That's 17 feet on the short wall. We just finished that 30-foot long wall. I just want to take a second and admire what a beautiful job Ken has been doing on the foundation wall. This stone stack is sitting on a bed of gravel with drainage, French drains that take all the water away, so we're not going to get too much frost heave, if any at all. This is going to be, as long as we take care of it, this is going to last a very long time. Ken's done many, many buildings in the last 40 years in the county, and they all look beautiful, including many of the walls on the house that I'm in now.
Here's the other exciting thing. I cleaned a little stuff off here.
Yeah. So there is a footing there a little bit.
Yeah, there is a little bit, but I need 8 inches to lay the veneer on.
Yeah.
And then we need a footing out in front for whatever arc that you want. And then we can probably build it up with like block up to just about where I'd say that piece of plywood's just about the floor height.
Yeah.
That
Right.
and the first block I lay on's a 4-inch piece,
Yeah.
and then because you can see the block work.
Ken and I are having a technical conversation about how to prepare to put a stone skin wall on the fireplace all the way up to the top.
So you can kind of,
What's that, up underneath that?
well, yeah,
Yeah.
it wouldn't be bad to just
Throw a couple into there?
right. So if
Okay.
we got some more support there, and it's not all held on those two little metal. Well, they're pretty good. The piece of metal.
Oh, I forgot I put those metals under there,
Right,
those hangers.
right. If it was just the screws, I'd be even more worried.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
yeah.
I forgot I put those hangers.
Right, because it's all backfill. It's not.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
It just makes it support. And then what's happening over here?
You tell me. What do you think?
Where's the wraparound? For me, if you put the wraparound porch, it doesn't have to be beautiful, but you might as well
You want to pull it out and get into
a
it?
little bit. I don't want to go too deep.
Yeah. Well,
Right, but
why not?
fix it
We've come
so
this
it's-
far.
Right, so that it's flush and at least it.
I want to keep that chimney, by the way. I know it's kind of shitty.
So from right now, we go up to
The chimney, yeah.
the chimney.
Yeah.
That's not that much. A little bit of deep.
Ken certainly started that foundation. I'll show you that in a few minutes while me and Mike are busy filling in the northern wall here. This is the wall that I think is going to have a beautiful big bay window in it. And by the way, this whole room will be vaulted. We're going to have the whole entire airspace opened up. I think it's going to look beautiful. It's going to really be really nice cathedral room. And then in this point area here, I'm considering finding or maybe making a big stained glass circle to make it feel like a cathedral. But that's way down the road. But Mike is cutting me the angles, and he's feeding them to me, and I'm installing them in place. And then that big strap on the end is really, you see how out of level the one side of the roof is higher than the other. That's just temporary. That collar tie, that big long collar tie, that was there to make sure the roof didn't collapse when nothing was underneath it. The funniest thing is, I haven't seen you put one stone down. I like turn around and look back, and then all of a sudden there's stones there. It's like magic.
Well, if you pick it up, you got to use it.
But I'm saying, I never even seen you place one stone, and this whole time I haven't caught you on video.
See me placing a
I haven't
stone?
got you on video placing one stone. I leave and I come back and then they're all there. It's like,
You know what the secret of that is?
what is it?
I'll let you.
If I pay you, you'll let me see you put a stone in. Needless to say, Ken is very methodical, and everything looks beautiful and level. And he's ready to take out the corners now that the wall's on. So we're taking out these corners that have been there for several months. Now we're finally supported. We get those 4-inch I-beams out, and we're ready to go. And in the next few segments, Mike and I are preparing the fireplace. We got to get rid of the skin on the fireplace. And that's what you see, Mike, right here. Mike is the expert at demolishing things with the Halligan bar. And we get rid of all those bricks. Those bricks are horrible, tacky. I hate those red bricks. We just pile them in the yard somewhere. They'll come in handy someplace else for cribbing and whatnot. But we skin all this back. And Ken and I discussed the plan of putting a foundation. In an upcoming video, we're going to put a foundation about 8 to 10 inches around the whole bottom of this. And that's going to be the foundation that everything's going to sit on, that goes all the way up to the ceiling, which is about 14 feet up. Oh, wow, that's a nice big thick piece of concrete.
Yeah, that's why I want to get this out of here.
Should we leave it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
This is built well.
Yeah.
No, don't take this off.
This nice ledger. It must also have rebar inside there, too.
Oh, 100% has to. It would have fell apart already.
Yeah. That's it. Ready for the new construction.
That's it.
Mike and I went over to the sawmill to pick up 2 more 8x8 plates that are going to be used to create the rafter sections in the floor. And the machines were busy on the other side of the yard, and the guy said you can wait. But me and Mike said let's try and get them on ourselves. I found that old wire spool. I was able to roll it on the wire spool. These things weigh about 400 pounds each. And we get them up and onto the truck. And with Mike, mostly everything is movable. Mike is like an action figure. And we get everything onto the truck, and you can see just how strong these damn things are. And I'm just showing you that roller thing just to inspire you in case you need to move anything heavy. If I had two of them, we could have just rolled them all the way across the yard. And there we are. We're on the truck, ready to go to the house, which is about 2 miles away, by the way. These two 8x8 timbers are going to facilitate in the floor. It's what the whole sill plate is made out of. Once we finish the foundation and we know exactly what the footprint of the fireplace is going to be, I'm going to put one of those sill plates here, and we're going to put floor joists going that way, and I'm going to put the other one here. That other 8x8 is going to go right here, and we're going to do floor joists that way, and then in between the two of them up to either side of the fireplace. And now this is June 5th, just a couple days ago, and you could see how far Ken has gone putting the new foundation wall up under the edge of the house. Here you can see how much he's had to dig out. Believe it or not, there's a lot of support up and under. That's why we don't have any droopage. By the next episode, that should be done. I don't think we're going across the front. My buddy Ryan is an architect, and he built this 3D model of the house, and which is nice because last night we sat down and went through all the various different ideas, and he's really quick in SketchUp, so he can pull in, draw a window, drop out a window. Now we're just sketching out some ideas. The kitchen is going to be on that wall right where the cursor is now, just on the other side. And we're talking about maybe doing a porch, and Ryan did a study on what a porch would look like. And what's nice is he's got all these layers he can turn on and turn off, and we're just going through all different scenarios. We did some layouts for potential bathroom inside on the first floor, which right now the bathroom is non-existent on the first floor. Relocating the whole entire area of where the old bathroom was versus where the new one's going to be. And this is just really, really, really amazing to be able to create visuals. Ryan's drawn every joist and rafter in the entire building. Good and bad, accurate and inaccurate as far as the construction goes. Everything's in this drawing. The previous owner stripped out a lot of the electric. Patrick and I are working with a new electrical supplier that's going to sponsor some upcoming installations of modern technology. We're going to replace all of this throughout the entire house. We're going to upgrade the amperage. We're going to upgrade a lot of the services to the house. We're going to keep the antique farmhouse look, but there's going to be a lot of modern amenities when it comes to the electric and the electrical components. Now here I'm just doing a little walkthrough through the house coming up from the basement, these skinny little basement stairs. You could see how raw the inside is. I haven't gotten to do a thing inside. That little corner right there with the open floor, that's where the new bathroom's going to be that Ryan and I were just showing on the drawing. This is in the first parlor, which would be on the east side of the house. And now looking through what is called the old house. It's two houses side by side. A lot of the dead animals I found in the walls of this particular house. And right there is the vaulted ceiling, which is still locked off. And then going through the house again, going upstairs. I bought antique pocket doors that are going to be all installed here. Now looking up the stairs, and you can see there's one bedroom that is still finished from the original interior that was never ripped out, which because it looked like it was more modern. And now this is the one of the two bedrooms on the top of the new section of the building. And we have this weird dead-end hallway, which is extra large. I'm going to figure out how to utilize that. And I put beds in here prematurely because during Maker Camp last year, some people stayed here. That's the update for now. Go back and watch the previous episodes if you haven't. In the meantime, I'm going to keep working on filling in that floor. We're going to work on the fireplace and the chimney there. Ryan and I are going to nail down some more permanent concepts for the interior. Just going to keep moving through and addressing each thing one at a time. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you soon. And if you're still hanging around, this is just a quick teaser for what's going on in the barn. There's an upcoming video where I talk about installing all the windows and all the lighting. I got a wonderful company called Steel Lighting. If you're in the market for vintage, beautiful lighting made in America, check out Steel Lighting. I'm going to do a video highlighting just this product. And here you see all the beautiful vintage lights. They're all brand new, made to look vintage. And me and Patrick installed all these in the horse barn. And it's a perfect fit. Beautiful product. I'm going to do a video talking about how we put them in. We built some special sconces just for these parts. And here you see we did all the gooseneck lighting on the outside of the building as well. So that's an upcoming video. Just wanted to give you a tease. And a big shout out to Steel Lighting, Mike, Dimitri, and Patrick. Guys, thank you for all your hard work. See you next week. Thank you, everybody.